Hey guys, I'm Jay and this is Football Talk. In this one, I will be reacting to one player from all 32 teams, all 32 NFL teams that they desperately need to move on from this season. Damn, what a title. That's desperately need to move on to. Now, you guys, as recording of today, Russell Wilson is now no longer Denver Bronco. When I saw that, I was like, what? The cap hit? I forgot the number, but it's something that I can't, my head can't even solve. That cap hit. That is crazy. But without further ado though, let's jump right into it. Oh, and Kelsey retiring from Philadelphia. Shout out to him. Best center to me, one of the best centers in NFL history. I mean, his consistency and just everything, like it's Jason. I couldn't think of it for some reason, but Jason, funny. Hey, he's a funny dude. I watch they podcast sometimes, watch they clips and stuff. He is so funny, man. But shout out to him. What a career.
Ritter on the slant, intercepted! No matter who you're rooting for, your favorite team is not going to be looking the same come the first week of the regular season. Some of the biggest names on there might not be there for much longer. And today, we're taking a look at every single team and figuring out what dude they need to cut.
Let's see what they got. Let's see if I agree with any of these.
One thing to keep in mind, the NFL is a results-oriented business, and tough, sentimental choices will have to be made by all 32 GMs before free agency and the draft roll around. So, with that said, let's dive into one player that all 32 NFL teams must move on from this offseason.
Kind of words out of your mouth when I was out there. Play some good ball, but I just got to consistently make sure I can be out there to showcase and do that.
Arizona Cardinals, Marquise Brown. The Cardinals' 2022 draft day trade for Hollywood Brown did not pan out as expected. As such, they're better off.
Yeah, the trade was supposed to be a big one, but
with the number 4 pick, Arizona.
You can't blame it all on him. I mean, he ain't have Kyle Murray out there.
Wherever they land, giving Arizona extra assurance that letting Brown walk is the necessary move. Atlanta Falcons, Desmond Ritter. Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, Jake Daniels. Either way, the Falcons.
Daniels gonna come to the Patriots, right?
Quarterback this year. No sense
think so.
keeping Desmond Ritter around after a very underwhelming sophomore season. Taylor Heineke will do just fine as backup to Atlanta's next starting QB, and Ritter should be open to a fresh start anyway.
Taylor Heineke is not a bad backup. He's a really solid player.
Unfortunately, the former Pro Bowler reminded everyone that he is well past his best before date. OBJ wasn't much of a factor with MVP Lamar Jackson throwing him the ball. Beckham finished the regular season with only 35 receptions for 565 yards and 3 touchdowns. He wasn't any better in the postseason, tallying just 4 receptions for 34 yards. For John Harbaugh and company, parting ways with OBJ is gotta be a no-brainer. Buffalo Bills.
Wonder what team OBJ would go to though.
Injuries have limited Buffalo's All-Pro corner to 21 total games.
I mean, he was one of the best cornerbacks.
Cheaper on defense, and injured White would save them roughly $6 million.
Man, these injuries been just killing his career
before the injuries piled up. But it's time for the Bills to part ways with an aging cornerback who simply cannot stay healthy. Carolina Panthers.
Unfortunately, I agree. DJ Chark.
Panthers in 2024. He's the only one who showed up on a weekly basis after all. Chark was a complete non-factor in Carolina after taking a 1-year deal. He'll leave in free agency, and the front office can use valuable cap space to bring in better receiving options for Bryce Young. Chicago Bears. Justin Fields. This is also a no-brainer. The Bears can trade Fields for extra draft capital and use the number 1 pick on USC's Caleb Williams. Williams has higher upside than Fields.
I don't know if did y'all guys see a clip of him on I can't remember the podcast, but they asked them questions about unfollow players off of Instagram, I do believe, and he was like, I just want to clear my mind and stuff. But he was on he doesn't want to be on social media, but it was just a whole lot like what do you talk that? Hey, I understand clearing your mind, but if you want to clear your mind, why? Yeah, you know what? I ain't gonna get into it.
Plus, the Bears would enjoy the luxury of holding the former on a cheap rookie deal for 4 to 5 years. Fields most certainly has the potential to be a star in this league, but Williams is a practical sure thing to succeed. The Bears really can't overthink this.
Well, hold on. What he said about he's a guarantee to succeed. You know how many times we've seen first rounders or number 1 picks not succeed just because you good at that college level, and Caleb Williams is that dude. He's one of one. But we've seen plenty of times one-on-ones not have success. So I can't say, that's why I never want to say, oh, he's a short end, because we don't don't know. NFL is a different ball game. Everybody is the same speed, higher, bigger, stronger. They use this way more than any college. I mean, it's all up here. It's a mental game. So I can't say that he's gonna be a success. You know what I mean? Injuries,
Cincinnati
things
Bengals,
could happen.
Joe
Don't risk it
Mixon.
on him.
Yes, he did rush
Damn,
for
my boy Joe Mixon.
last season and still has plenty of good football left in him. But cutting Mixon would save Cincinnati $5.75 million in cap space. They need to save every penny possible to retain T. Higgins while using that money to fill up other needs on the O-line and in the secondary. As good as Mixon is, running backs are a dime a dozen in today's league. The Bengals can find a much cheaper option and get similar or even better production in the backfield. Cleveland Browns.
Okay, I do not agree with that at all. Joe Mixon, but he can pass catch, which I know there's other runners, especially nowadays, that can pass catch and all that. But I just think for the offense that he's in with Joe Burrow coming back, he's that guy. He's that other option. And we saw a couple years ago in the playoffs, he could be that dude. So I don't think going away from him. I understand maybe the cap room, but I just don't think it's very like a running back is the easiest position to transfer to from college to pro. But how fast can they transfer? You know what I mean? Because Joe if he stays healthy, which he hasn't, but hopefully he does this coming up year, like he needs somebody that he can depend on. You know what I mean? He's always had Clyde Edward, I can't even pronounce his name, but one played for Kansas City right now. He was a catching running back, a small catching running back. It's something about those small running backs that they just pick it. It's just like a match made in heaven for a lot of quarterbacks. So I don't know about Joe Mixon going away. That's just my
Darius Smith. The three-time Pro Bowler had a good, not great 2023 season with the Browns.
Yeah, he had a
Tallying
solid
just
year.
5.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. In many cases, we endorse the idea of giving
He
a
got
player
plenty
that
left in
is
him, though, I think.
But he'll be 32 this upcoming season and will
Damn,
surely
he be
get overpaid by
32?
somebody else in free agency. With limited cap room, the Browns need to let Smith walk and explore cheaper options via free agency or the draft. Dallas Cowboys, Michael Gallup. If Dallas
Yeah,
cuts
I could
Gallup
definitely
first,
see this.
They'll have a whopping $9.5 million in cap space. Cut him before that date, and it's only $800,000. It's a tough situation for Gallup, but this is ultimately a business. He's too injury prone and has seen his production reduce gradually over the last 3 years. So expect Dallas to cut Gallup in June, giving him the long overdue fresh start that he sorely needs. Denver Broncos, Jerry Jeudy. Perhaps no
Facts, 100%, about a million %.
The 2020 first-round pick has not been able to put it together in the Mile High City.
At
He
all.
only hit the 60-catch mark once without a single 1,000-yard season to show for it. Denver has gone 4 straight years now without a 1,000-yard rusher or receiver. The offense needs an overhaul,
4?
and that includes parting ways with the maddeningly inconsistent Jeudy. Detroit Lions, Levi Onwuzurike.
He's been very
Because he's on a
inconsistent.
rookie deal, cutting Onwuzurike
I honestly liked him a
won't
little
save the
bit,
Lions any
even
money.
though he's from
But
Alabama.
I think it's time for the Lions to clear a roster spot for somebody else, as the 2021 second-round pick has seen his career marred by injuries up to this point. Onwuzurike has played in just 26 games since his rookie year, even missing the entire 2022 season with an injury. Having seen just 21% of Detroit's defensive snaps last year, I think it's clear that Onwuzurike would benefit from a fresh start somewhere else. Green Bay Packers, David Bakhtiari. The 3-time Pro Bowler played just 1 game in 2021. 11
He only played 1 game?
A single contest again in 2023. With
Dude,
that
one of the
bad
best at his
injury,
positions.
Coupled with the fact that he'll be 33 in September, I think it's obvious
Yeah,
that the Pack
probably
just
time to
needs
go.
move on. Cutting Bakhtiari saves the Packers a hair under $21 million in cap space. They're better off using that money to bring in younger linemen and more weapons for Jordan Love. Houston Texans, Davis Mills. Mills had a stellar 2021
Damn, Mills
rookie year,
still-
but was never able
is
to
still
build
playing?
off that. With CJ Stroud cementing himself as the new franchise quarterback, the Texans can cut Mills and find a better and cheaper backup option. The fact that Case Keenum started the 2 games over Mills during Stroud's injury absence sort of says a lot about how the Texans actually view Mills. His time in H-Town is now up. Indianapolis Colts, Kenny Moore II. Moore had an excellent 2023 season on the Colts, but they need to be careful about overpaying a soon-to-be 29-year-old who's been up and down over his 7-year playing career. The Colts should let Moore price himself out of town and look towards the quarterback-heavy draft for more defensive back help. You just can't commit too much money to a guy who has not found any consistency as a pro. Jacksonville Jaguars, Calvin Ridley. If the Jaguars re-sign Ridley, the 2024 third-round pick they owe to Atlanta in the trade would become the number 48 selection. That's just too high a price to pay for a soon-to-be 30-year-old. The Jaguars already have Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Travis Etienne Jr. as reliable.
Yeah, I can see it. I like Ridley, but I can see it.
Class. Or maybe they could sign someone like Mike Evans, Hollywood Brown, or Gabe Davis.
Well, it can't do Mike Evans because he got re-signed.
Far too rich. Kansas City Chiefs, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. It might be sentimentally hard to cut a two-time Super Bowl champion who made plenty of big-time plays over the Chiefs' last 2 playoff runs. But again, it's nothing personal, and it's all business, baby. Cutting MVS saves the Chiefs $12 million. That's a lot of money that they can just use to retain superstar free agents Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. Las Vegas Raiders, Hunter Renfrow. The former Pro Bowler had 61 receptions, 585 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns over his last 2 seasons. And you're telling us that Vegas would save $8.21 million if they just cut Renfrow before June 1st? Yeah, I think that this is a pretty easy call for the new Raiders regime. Los Angeles Chargers, Khalil Mack. Mack tallied a career-high 17 sacks last season, but keep in mind that 6 of those came in a single game. Also consider that this was his first season.
First and foremost, I don't care who you are. 6 in a fucking NFL game? He said that like that's not nothing. Come on now. On Chargers team of last year, that Charger team? Come on now.
With double-digit sacks since 2018. I think that the Bolts would be wise to bet against similar production for 2024. Just saying, cutting the 33-year-old would save Jim Harbaugh's squad a ridiculous $23.5 million. I think that they could use that to, shore up the many holes on this roster. Namely the O-line, wide receiver, and cornerback. This right here is a move that the Bolts really need to make. Los Angeles Rams, Joe Noteboom. The Rams would clear a whopping $15 million in cap space if they cut Noteboom post-June 1st.
Damn.
It's a wait, yes, but it's also a no-brainer for Les Snead and a Rams team that is always up against the cap. Noteboom has been a fine option offensive tackle for Sean McVay and company, but he's also replaceable, and Snead has a successful history in finding stud offensive linemen in the later rounds of the draft. Miami Dolphins, Xavier Howard. The Dolphins would save
and they did cut my boy.
$5 million in cap space if they just cut Howard. In other words, this right here is an easy decision.
I think they cut.
Didn't they cut him? To make a considerable pay cut. The 4-time Pro Bowler has made a living off of takeaways, yet he just has 2 interceptions over his last 2 seasons. He also had a lackluster 55.1 grade from Pro Football Focus for 2023, a clear indicator that it's best to move on, especially with Jalen Ramsey already slotted in as the CB1. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Cousins has put together excellent stats over 6 years.
I damn sure don't agree with this. I really do not agree with this because Kirk Cousins just fits for the Vikings. Him and Justin Jefferson just have a connection that not too many quarterbacks and wide receivers have in the league. I know he's older, but I just still feel like Kirk Cousins got 1 more run in him, maybe 2. I don't know. It could just be me, but I feel like he is coming out for the injury. I don't know. I just like that type of connection is just something that's very hard to find between a young receiver and an older quarterback. Like their consistency is remarkable, man. It's crazy.
But I think it's time to reset at the position. You got a 36-year-old coming off of surgery on a torn Achilles with only 1 career postseason victory. All right, I mean,
understand
if
it.
That's not a sign to move on, then honestly, what the heck is?
But I don't agree.
Long term here, letting an aging Cousins walk and finding a younger option. I don't know, Justin Fields or JJ McCarthy, anybody for Kevin O'Connell.
But they gotta have that connection though. See, that's the problem.
New England Patriots, Mac Jones. Bill Belichick isn't here to ruin Jones's career anymore.
I'm gonna say it one more time. Mac fucking Jones need to go home. And I don't mean the New England. Please get him out. We already got the first guy out. We got Bill Belichick. One of the best coaches of all time. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of glad he gone. Now, Mac Jones, it wasn't all on him, but a lot of it was. That rookie season had a lot of us fooled. Went to the Pro Bowl. He doing the gritty during the Pro Bowl game. I mean, it was looking sunny. May I say sunny in Philadelphia for the Patriots, which is my team. But these last 2 years, man, it's just been hard being a Patriots fan. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to watch Patriots football games no more. I stopped reacting to them. I think I only read through like maybe 2 or 3 games. That was it. I couldn't do it no more. So, Matt Jones, time for you to go. I don't know where you gonna go, but you can't live here
anymore. But it doesn't mean that new head coach Jared Mayo should give Jones another shot. With the number 3 pick in this year's draft, the Patriots have an easy decision to draft whichever hotshot QB prospect remains between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. Jones' popularity in the locker room gives New England additional reason to choose Bailey Zappi as their QB2 over Jones.
Zappi played really well.
Michael Thomas.
Honestly, okay, I agree with this.
The Saints decided to bring back Thomas again in
the injury history is just piled up for him. He was once
but it's just time for
the best wide receiver in football.
There's no justifying keeping a 31-year-old around when he has played just 20 total games over the last 4 years. New York Giants
20 in 4 years?
Cutting an inconsistent veteran guard who turns 32 next season? Yeah, easy enough call. Especially when Big Blue would clear just under $5.7 million by releasing him. Reinforcements are needed on the Giants O-line. Cutting Glowinski is an easy starting point. New York Jets, Zach Wilson. Whether it's a trade or getting outright
100%.
released, it is time for the Jets to cut ties with Wilson. He had an entire offseason to learn from Aaron Rodgers and still failed to make any progress whatsoever. The Jets are banking on Rodgers to stay healthy next season. And I think they owe it to themselves to find a competent insurance option just in case something goes awry again. And, well, I think Wilson is anything but a capable backup QB. Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Byard. The trade deadline acquisition of Byard did nothing to help the Eagles leak.
They already traded him.
Cutting the former Tennessee Titans.
No, I think they cut him.
Would open up a cool $13 million in cap space for Howie Roseman's squad. Another easy decision here, unless Byard is willing to take a giant pay cut. Pittsburgh Steelers, Patrick Peterson. The future Hall of Famer showed his age in the Steelers secondary and made it obvious that Joey Porter Jr. needs more playing time in year 2. Cutting this past his prime Pro Bowler would save the Steelers just under $7 million in cap space. That could be used towards a QB upgrade, or heck, offensive line help, or even better cornerbacks. San Francisco 49ers, Chase
Young. Hell no.
Young didn't do a whole lot to
We're gonna skip. You know what? Whatever he, huff, puff, and I need some of that. My hell to the no.
There are way more affordable options for the
Shut up.
agents Jadeveon Clowney, Frankie Louvu, Bryce Huff, Danielle Hunter, and Jonathan Greenard.
Alright. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this reaction. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.